Good evening. Welcome to the May 20th, 2025 Select Board meeting. This is the first meeting after the town election. So will you all join me in Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to congratulate Ed Heel on his reelection.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. And it is now, after the first election, the Select Board must reorganize. So at this time, I will accept motions for chair.
I nominate Laura Kemet.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent, wonderful. Madam Chair, I hand the meeting to you.
Wait, where's the gavel?
Congratulations.
I will entertain nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Ann.
A second.
Any further nominations? Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Aye.
I will entertain a nomination for clerk.
I nominate Ed. He does a good job.
I'll second that.
Any further nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Our second item on the agenda, which was to recognize Ed Savage for his dedicated service. Oh, all right, hold on. Can I just finish that and then I'll go back? Right out of the gate, I'm blowing it. Yeah. All right, let's go back. Mr. Hale, would you like to read the public announcements?
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to
No, thank you very much.
mix things up here. Okay. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the following committees: the Bylaw Committee, the Cable and Internet Committee, the Camp Kewanee Commission, the Capital Improvement Committee, the Energy Committee, the Historical Commission, Memorial Day and Patriotic Observance Committee, the Recreation Committee, and I'm not sure about the Economic
We
Development.
have no more vacancies on economic development. I'm happy to report.
Right that.
Yep.
Volunteer applications may be found on the town website, www.hanson-mass.gov, or by calling the Select Board's office at 781-293-2131. And the following three Select Board meetings are June 10th, June 24th, July 8th.
Okay, lovely.
All I've got.
We were going to recognize Ed Savage, who is a prince amongst men in the electrical industry, and we've been lucky to call him our electrical inspector for, as incredible as this sounds, over 50 years, which is just marvelous. But he is unable to join us this evening, so we will postpone that, and that will just give us more time to gather more testimony about what an amazing individual he is. Next up, we've got appoint TJ Roffey as the Conservation Commission representative for the High Street Park Committee. As you know, they've got a lot of work to do up there. The Conservation Commission voted that they would like him to be their representative. In the past, we had Phil Clemens. So I will entertain that motion. I think TJ would be a lovely addition to that committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Great. Accept the resignation of Matthew Dyer from the Indian Head River Restoration Committee. I will entertain that motion.
So moved with regret. I didn't even know there was a committee for that.
Yeah, I don't know if we always had a representative, but it only really came on the radar like in the last couple of years, and then Matt applied to be on it. Given his background, that made sense.
Right.
Okay, so did I have a second?
I'll second it with regrets also. It's too
All right.
bad that he's unable, because he's the perfect person.
Yeah, and with appreciation for his service. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And then, Ms. Green, do we have the, we've got two disclosures from Superintendent Hickey. And I think it's just out of an abundance of caution. And one is that he works for a public agency, and that he's our superintendent, superintendent of South Shore Voc Tech. but that he also is on, he's going to be on serving as a member of the town committee as a private citizen to recommend the OPM for a library project. And if you think about it, given his background and everything that he did with the vocational school, it actually is really quite wonderful that he's willing to lend that expertise to the library folks. So I think he's just disclosing, there's no real, he's not gaining financially, he's not doing anything inappropriate. He just wants to disclose that an average person might think that there could be a conflict because he works as the superintendent and he's also on this committee. So I don't know that we really need to vote on anything, Ms. Green, do we?
No.
Yeah. Just recognizing the disclosure. I do have to say that I'm really liking the fact that, I've got to say, almost ever since I've served, I don't remember us getting disclosures to actually discuss at meetings. And I like it. It's more transparent. And, a lot of times it's just people again, it isn't people doing anything wrong. They're saying, look, an average guy might think that I could be swayed or whatever, and I know that. And so I'm just filing this just so that people know that in my mind, I'm clear about what my roles and responsibilities are. And I think when in doubt, just file it. I got nothing to lose. And I know we've had that conversation about stuff, and I've done it for stuff, and, I just think it's the way to go. So I thank Mr. Hickey for doing that. Ms. Green, 212 Industrial Boulevard Resolution in support of site readiness grant.
Okay, so, this is a grant that we received through the One Stop for Growth program. It's a site readiness grant for 212 Industrial Boulevard. The grant amount is $70,000, and what this grant allows us to do is basically make the parcel site ready. So they're doing all of the formal, they're testing the soil, they're doing the surveying, so they're making sure that if anybody is interested in that parcel, that it's all site ready, so that permitting is a very easy process. And the resolution is just the select board's confirmation that they support this grant, they support they support the program and the I can't think of the word I'm going to say. Basically, you're supporting that this grant is going to make that parcel site ready.
Okay.
Again, and if we were to sell the parcel, that goes to an amount beyond what the grant was for, the agency that awarded us the grant would expect us to pay that grant back, and that's what the resolution says.
That totally makes sense. And just to be clear, no decision about what is going to be done with that parcel of land has been made at all. This just gives us the ability to be able to pivot if we want to sell it, if we want to lease it, if we need it for some town purpose, whatever that might be, that, we're going to be just that closer to being able to act on it. If we were to do anything with that property other than use it for ourselves, it's always going to go to an RFP process where everybody will have an opportunity to bid and tell us what they'd like to do with it, and then we will go through the proper procurement process. So just want to make sure people aren't clutching their pearls or nervous about what we're going to do with the site, because we don't have any plans. But one of the things that the Economic Development Committee continuously is looking at is underutilized properties and pieces of property that the town owns that we're not doing anything. So underutilized, when we talk about that, we're talking about the nurses building up at Plymouth County Hospital, that front portion of the building. Can that be leased? Can it be worked on? Whatever. We've had people approach us on that. Light control, can we lease that? Again, looking for revenue streams. And similarly, I don't think many people even realized that the town owned this piece of property right near the water department. I know there were people on the planning board that were shocked about it, and others. So it's a beautiful little piece of property that's got some potential. What that potential is, I don't know, but it will be the decision of this board to decide whether to send it to town meeting and then the voters about what we'll do with it. So with that, is there a particular motion that we're looking for here?
Just a motion to support the resolution, for the, 212 Industrial Park, grant.
All right, okay, great.
Second?
Okay, I mean, I'm not making you say second it, but I just, I was hoping you would. Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor? Okay, great. And then, after a little bit of, discussion, negotiation, I should say, Ms. Green, has secured the IT director as per our discussion. And she is looking for us to ratify the contract. Have you included the contract in here?
I actually have the 2 copies here.
Okay, so can you just give us the high points and,
Absolutely. He will be joining us, and this is part of my, town administrator report, so he will be, starting on June 2nd. He will, basically, the salary, he will be starting at 149,000. He will receive 2.5% increase, for the second year of the contract, bringing it to 152,725. Year 3, 2.5%, 156,543.13. This is comparable to what IT directors are being paid. And 149 was what he was making at his, current position.
okay,
He will have, 25 days of vacation, which will be granted and allotted in 12.5 days, 12.5 days, on January 1st, he gets 12.5 days, and July 1, 12.5 days. That way, we're not allotting the whole amount right up front.
so it's similar to what we've done with treasurer collector. with you
And myself,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Has the background check been completed?
The background check on my end is done, nothing to report, and I believe the other background check is just about done with nothing
Okay.
to report.
All right, so if we make a motion, we would say contingent upon,
Right, the rest of it.
Putting a
yes.
bow on the
But I
background check.
haven't heard anything yet that has been, brought to the attention. He did just let me know that has 2 pre-planned vacations, June 30th through July 7th, and then August 24th through the 31st. So, I noted those in the contract. He has signed it, and we just need the board to ratify and sign, and I will deliver one.
where are
to
we
him.
going to be placing this individual? And I hope you're not going to tell me in with Charlie Baker, because I really think we need to give an IT director making this salary, who's got these kind of responsibilities, a decent office space.
Well, for
So-
right now, that's the only space that we have. We will look at spaces in some of the other buildings. Here at Town Hall, we're kind of limited. There is the historical room, but I know last time we proposed that there was some, concern with, some of the committees that meet.
There was some concern, but then I think we had pivoted to, that perhaps because the veterans agent is only part-time, I do believe that the FinCom who uses it was willing to allow the veterans agent's, documents to be, there's space in there to move he's got like files and what have you, to move them in there and have him there, because they would never really cross paths at all with the hours that they're each keeping. And then that would give, I'll leave it to you to work that out, but I really don't want somebody starting and already feeling like they're behind the 8 ball because they're being put in a closet.
Yeah.
The equivalent of a closet. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but not really. If and if you need me to reach out, and talk to Mr. Sullivan about willingness and space and what have you, then I'd be willing to do that.
Well, we did, actually, we moved the registrars from the Veterans Office. They're now sharing that office, that room now with the, FinCom, so that, some of those files have been moved in. As far as the schedules, actually, they're both kind of gonna be on the same schedules.
Okay.
So, it's a matter of looking at other offices, in Town Hall. Perhaps some of the kitchen office can be, we can do some modifications in that, because it's a large area that's not regularly used. So I think maybe that might be one of the best, and there actually is the IT closet right there too. So that might be one of the better, choices for.
Yeah. Okay, well, like I
But
said,
we'll definitely
we'll defer
work
to
on it.
you. I know you'll take
Yeah.
care of them.
We'll get him taken care of.
And so he's starting at the same time that our new executive?
She will be starting June 3rd,
Okay,
actually,
all right.
that Tuesday. so.
Okay, all right. All right, great. Did anybody have any questions?
Did you say he's taking time off on June 3rd?
He did let me know that he did have 2 pre-planned vacations.
Just one day?
But
I thought it was June 30th.
Was it June 30th or June 3rd?
No, June 30th to July 7th.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah,
more
and then August
Okay.
24th and the
Okay,
31st.
yep.
So he did let me know about
Okay,
those
that's
two.
fine, okay. I thought he was coming on the 2nd, having a vacation on the.
Yeah, no.
That would be,
We would have
Little
pushed the start date out.
okay, I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Any, MBTA Community Act update, Ms. Green?
There is no updates at this moment. Nothing from town council regarding any decisions made by the court.
Okay. I'm sure you'll cover this in your town administrator's report. And I don't think there's anything for us to deliberate about, but, what are we planning to do now that the override has not passed? Because those budget, cuts need to be made by July 1st. We just don't have, that they have to be made by July 1st. So are we,
I did have a department head meeting today. All the department heads were here, our town accountant was here. We went over the amounts, that the departments need to look at. And we're gonna be having further discussions. And I noted that we do wanna have everything in place for July 1, as in last year. It took a few months for us to finally, come to agreement with the union, and, start the reductions. So hopefully, we're going to have everything in place by July 1. Of course, we do have to, impact bargain with some of the unions for positions that may be, impacted by this. So we started today, and we're gonna continue to work through it, to be ready for July 1.
okay, and have we heard anything back from, town council on, where we're at with our lawsuit?
No, there hasn't been any updates yet,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Um,
The courts are slow, so.
I know last week you read us a statement from him saying,
Yeah.
we were
Yes.
waiting for Godot.
No updates.
Okay. Am I passing those on? All right, with that, we've got, Kelly Thorndike graduation, 6/29/25. Brianna Riley, baby shower, on 6/22/25. Teresa Doyle, 6/7/25. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and that's for one-day liquor licenses. All in favor? Okay, amazing. May 13th, 2025, open session meetings. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Sleep at the wheel up there, Ed. All right, all in favor? All right, great. And that brings us to committee updates. Economic Development Committee, oh, it was fantastic. So we had a meeting last week, and it was the first time that we have had all 5 members in the Economic Development Committee for years. So it was quite lovely. We've got 2 new members, Paul Serra and Scott Rothwell, both who have very diverse backgrounds, both of whom I know from the Hanson Business Network. They are ready to roll up their sleeves and get going on things. Some of the things that we talked about, I mentioned earlier in the meeting, is utilization of underutilized properties. One of the things that Scott Rothwell brought up was what can we do to increase revenues at Camp Kiwanee? One of the things I know that we've talked about, but of course there isn't a full commission right now. There's only 2 members. I think they're down 3 or 4 members now. for a variety of reasons, is potentially trying to get that camp to be used during the day for, company outings, luncheons, that type of thing. I think our mindset has been, and I'm not saying it's bad, it probably is the bigger moneymaker, has been for, banquets and weddings and all of that. And that's great, and those are moneymakers, but the fact of the matter is, we've got those lights on all day because we've got people up at the office all day. Really, let's see if we can do some company retreats, that type of thing. So, Scott had suggested at our Economic Development Committee meeting that, he has a business, and for years he said he was not advertising. And then he said he got a call from somebody saying, hey, I think you should advertise. I think he said it was on Yahoo, Yelp. And he said he could not believe the response from him just putting that one advert. And they basically said, well, if it doesn't pay for itself by the end of the month, then we'll give you your money back, which is always difficult to believe. But so he was saying, maybe we need to work on advertising. And again, this is not being disparaging at all to the people that are there and the work that people are already doing. But I think we've got to continuously try to think outside of the box and think about how can we increase revenues. Is it going to solve our fiscal problem? No, but it will help. Every little bit helps. I kind of think of it like, I don't think there's any one solution. I think it's probably a bunch of little solutions, little changes. So that came up, and then we talked about potentially, and we've got to flesh this out a little bit more, having 2 pop-up farmers markets, because we've got a lot of little mom and pop businesses in town, like little bakeries and, farm stands and stuff like that. So we don't necessarily want to get into the habit of having them every week because it's a lot of organization and it's burnout. We really don't have the volunteers to do it. But maybe 2 pop-up sessions. We are planning on a Hanson Day. That will be in September, probably the 3rd Saturday of September. And then Tony gave us all kinds of updates on the grants, which he had just given to us last week, so I'm not going to repeat. But a lot of the work that he's been doing getting grants is things that the Economic Development Committee had requested. We did have Melissa Johnson come to talk to us. She's interested in using the front portion of that, the Plymouth County, building, what she refers to us as the nurses building. She's a therapist. She has a therapy business, and she has a bunch of other people that are in various wellness professions, I'd call them, and they've expressed that they would like to rent it. Now, again, and I've said this at the Economic Development Committee meeting, and I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. This all has to go to RFP. It all has to be opened up to whomever it is that wants to bid and da-da-da. She is working with community preservation to see if they can get money to figure out how much would it cost to fix up historically accurately the front part of that building. And they've been in touch with a woman from Plymouth who did quite a bit of work with Plymouth Community Preservation. I think she's responsible for redoing like the library and the art center down there. But she is a one-woman band. So when, she really knows her stuff. She went through the building. Charlie took them through, Charlie Baker took them through, and she was very excited about how beautiful a building that is, and that it's got great bones, and that it has not been remodeled, so it is still, it is still eligible for historic restoration money. The back portion that the food pantry, is now occupying, was rehabilitated, but not with a lens focused on historic restoration. It was just a boots on the ground, let's get it going so that people can just move in there and they, we can have a food pantry. And it's wonderful and it's great, but that takes historic, grants off the table for them because it wasn't done in keeping with for the back portion. The key piece of that building is it's really distinctly 2 buildings. There's a little connector there, but it is technically 2 buildings. So I'm sure that Mr. Christofulo will be having a role in this. Charlie Baker is going to have a role in it. Mr. DeFrayis is going to have a role in it. And as I said, they have applied to Community Preservation, who has not yet voted on whether they're going to provide them with the money. But I want to say it was like $35,000. And it really doesn't, it's that type of project that does not make sense to jump in feet first and then find out you've got costs you didn't anticipate. Lot of, like already, just that one meeting, having all those 5 people, like amazing ideas. I'm very excited about it. Did anybody have an update on High Street Park Committee?
No.
Okay. Highway Committee?
No, we haven't had one.
Okay.
We have to reschedule a meeting.
The Regional Agreement Committee, I want to say,
Can I just say one
Oh,
thing?
yeah.
Tony, Mr. DeFrayis did send through, the plans. that
For the highway?
For the highway.
Okay.
I have them.
I would love, like, when do you think you'll be fully baked enough to come to us and talk to us about it?
I have no idea. We have to have a meeting.
Okay.
We need to
yeah,
have that
I mean,
meeting.
that's kind of key, but
And then we can come and talk.
he touched on it in our Economic
yep.
Development Committee meeting, and he told us that what he was proposing was vastly cheaper
It is.
than anything
It's
else
quite a
that's
bit
even
cheaper.
been contemplated.
Yeah.
So that was, because I really didn't know where we would ever come up with the
No.
money that we were originally looking at for that light control rehabilitation. This seems like maybe more palatable.
It really is more
Yeah.
palatable.
Okay, that's great. Whitman Hanson Regional School Agreement Committee, I want to say we've got a meeting like,
June 4th.
there we go, June 4th. Okay, great, couple weeks. Doreen, we can remove planning board updates. That was just for that one meeting. And then, any other committee updates?
The Energy Committee's on the next agenda for the 10th, I believe, June 10th.
The Energy Committee is?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
just wanted to make sure of that.
You guys are gonna come and give us an update on what you're doing?
When I say you guys, it's me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
The royal you, the royal we, the royal you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. Doreen, have you got that down? Okay, awesome. All right, and we didn't have this on the agenda, but we ought to. We can vote on it next meeting. Can everybody just take a look at the, select board calendar? And Doreen, if you don't mind just putting a note that we'll, vote and approve that.
528
Are there-
strategic planning session.
What is it?
528 strategic planning session.
Well, I think that was just proposed, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really just, 528, yeah.
So we're not doing 528?
We are not doing 528?
When I saw that, I was,
No,
And that's a Wednesday, so I wouldn't be.
no, we,
Are we doing wage and personnel today?
No wage personnel.
oh, but that's, so we would reorganize the wage and personnel, that's a good point, at the next wage and personnel meeting.
Next wage. Yes.
Okay, you may want to, if this is where you're going, Joe, at least put it on the next agenda, so we're reorganized before we have
No,
the
it's just,
first.
it's on the calendar, that's why I'm
Okay,
asking.
all right.
It's on the calendar for today.
All right, yeah, we didn't, yeah.
We can do it for the 10th.
All right, so did anybody have any, let's just quickly look through, since we're already 3/4 of the way through here. Can we, do a fresh start on the calendar from like next week forward? And do it for a year so we're looking, so,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're
it'd be
only,
good to
This
do
ends
it
in
yeah,
December.
yeah,
on a yearly basis, beginning after the election, is that what you mean?
that's exactly what I'm saying,
That's
Mr.
what you-
Hill.
I'm picking up what you're
Yes,
putting down.
well, my condolences. Okay, so we've got 6/10/25, and are we in fact going to have a police department update?
On the 10th?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we just appointed Deputy Casey and,
Well, we can always change it. We can move those all around.
Okay.
So, you know, with the will of the board, we can move those
I
around.
suggesting we do not have the police?
no, I just feel like it would be putting Mike in well, both Mikes in a weird position because they're trying to transition right now. I'm
Okay.
thinking maybe right after, maybe like a month after Chief Mix has retired, that would be a good time to check in with Casey and just say, hey, like, what are you planning? Like, like, what are you doing, you know, that type of thing. But it's up to you guys. I'll talk to him and see when he, you know, he may want to get before us before, you know, Mike Mix leaves, I don't know. And then, fire update, and then, that's shocking that we have to open the special town meeting warrant like in 2 weeks or something. That seems crazy, but, okay. And then highway, building inspector, okay. All right, well, we'll take a look at that. And, okay, that's fine. Now, I wanted to briefly mention, and again, it's not on the agenda, and there's no, I could definitely not have anticipated this. And we're not going to be deliberating about it because it's not under our purview anyway. But I did want to just kind of give a brief update about the boil order for water.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So it was quite a whirlwind of activity. So my understanding is that on May 14th, tests were taken from the Abington-Rockland Joint Waterworks. The test came back with a presence of E. coli. They then, on the 15th, as per what they're required to do, told the DEP. The DEP then, the 16th, told the impacted towns. Now, just to be clear, the Water Commission is separately elected in Hanson. This was not Hanson water that was derived from a source in Hanson, which is technically under the Hanson Water Department's purview. This was Abington-Rockland, and a lot of people were surprised to find that there are people in town that are served by Abington-Rockland. It's a legacy type of thing. It isn't everybody. It's only certain streets.
It's 105 households.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a firestorm. The news ran with the fact that, I think it made it more sensational to say it was all these towns, the entire town, instead of saying just sections. So they went with it.
That was all over the news.
They went with it,
everywhere.
everybody. It just caught on fire. And which made it even more difficult because everybody's trying to be like, no, it's only 105 people. It's not everybody in Hanson. There were people that were pregnant, that were immune compromised, that had animals. People were freaking out because they were thinking that they had been drinking contaminated water. I will say that I reached out and communicated to the Board of Health agent, who also happens to be the chair of water, and said, what are we doing to communicate? And then I reached out to Chief Mix and we did a reverse 911. Now, in order to receive the reverse 911, you have to be signed up on Code Red. The town has no way of knowing, especially now with mobile phones and portability of Code Red system. If you look on the Town of Hanson website, at the very bottom of the landing page, the home page, there's a blurb that says Code Red. But if you don't want to go through all that, you can also just Google Plymouth County Sheriff, and they've got the Code Red. So you have to look that up, and you put in your credentials, your cell phone number, your home phone number, your email address. And if you're like me, apparently when I signed up for it, I put all of those in, because when I got the reverse 911, I got 7 different notifications, but I knew that the system was working. So I got calls, texts, emails. It was like, wow. Okay, so there's that, but the Abington-Rockland Joint Waterworks does not go through our Code Red, which is for the town of Hanson. They go through a separate alert system that is run by the town of Rockland. And I did post this on Facebook, but if you want to know what it is, go on the Abington-Rockland Joint Waterworks website, and you will find that there's a separate alert system. It will take you to a sign up that they use, and you would need to sign up for that to receive alerts if you are one of those 105 people on the Abington-Rockland Water. You probably want to sign up for that too.
All right, so I have to make a point about this, though. I had no idea that we had these customers that were paying.
They pay Abington-Rockland.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do. But we also have people on Brockton Water in
Yes.
Hanson, and they are billed by the town of Hanson Water Department. That creates a lot of confusion.
There's a
That
lot of
was not
confusion.
necessarily understood by people in the water department. They were very upset that people were calling them. Well, who do you pay your water bill to? Nobody knew,
No.
except those 105 households. Nobody knew. Everybody thought it was the whole town of Hanson.
Well, and so on Saturday, no, I'm sorry, yesterday, I called the Abington Water Joint Waterworks, and I said, I said, first, I'm not calling to criticize. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned here. I think we all need to be looking at how could we have done this better.
Right.
But may I ask you, do you have an ability to reach out directly to your customers that happen to live in Hanson? And she said, we do not. But she said, we will work on it. She was very open about the fact that she knew that they had stuff they had to work on. And then the test ended up coming back that there wasn't anything, you know, that it wasn't
They-
tainted.
But
Yeah.
my point is, I thought that Abington Rockland was brokered into Hanson the way Brockton
Yeah.
was. I
No.
knew that there were Brockton water people.
No, and I will say, the water department, Emily and Carol, like, were answering calls,
know
they
they
stayed
were.
late,
I know.
you know, they did a great job, and like I said, we did the reverse 911 to those who had signed up. That was sort of like happenstance. If you happen to know that you needed to sign up for it, great. It really wasn't necessarily Abington Rockland. We don't have an ability to like isolate that way. And I doubt anybody knew to sign up for Abington Rockland Joint Waterworks alerts. I mean, I would pretty much lay a bet on that one. So I think, you know, a lot of lessons learned there. I did talk to Chief O'Brien yesterday. At the end of the day, and, you know, he's our emergency response coordinator, and everything should have really run through him. And so again, that's a lesson learned. Regardless of what the emergency is, Chief O'Brien he's got memorandums of understanding. For instance, if this had gotten to a point where, in fact, we really did think people were going to be without water for days on end, and, you know, it was a more serious, he has memorandums of understanding with all the local, you know, Shaws and, you know, Walmart, to get water. And then he's got resources through MEMA and CERT and some of these other organizations, regional organizations, to distribute that. So we've got a plan in place. Chief O'Brien and the water commissioners and the Board of Health and Chief Mix/Casey will all be forensically going through what could we do, what could we have done better. And as far as I'm concerned, anytime there's anything that we do, we can always do better, okay? That's just, you know, so then we got through that, and then on Sunday, when we learned, unfortunately through social media and not from a first-hand source, that the ban had been lifted, we again did the reverse 911. One of the things I've mentioned to Ms. Green, is in addition to learning that we had that emergency management plan, which we all knew, but I don't think, you know, sometimes in the throes of people getting into this stuff, you don't go, let's work the plan. We've got a plan, we've got to work it. So there was that lesson. Then that got me thinking about if it wasn't something quite to that level, but something that we felt we needed to tell people about, maybe not a health emergency, not something crazy, what are our abilities to do the equivalent of a reverse 911. And so Lisa's, you know, you guys, again, we're not committing to anything, but I just asked her to look into it. She's going to talk to some of the other towns and, you know, kind of do cost versus benefit, like what can we do? But at the end of the day, I would urge people, sign up for that code Red Alert. They don't abuse it. They're very judicious about it. And they really, Plymouth County Sheriff, that's what people can use that for. So it's not going to be like, oh, attend this fundraiser or da-da-da-da. There's not going to be anything like that, unfortunately for me with my fundraisers. But it's got to be, you know, like health and safety, like that level of things. So I just thought I'd kind of, you know, bring you guys, I know that people were like, the town should do better, the town should da-da-da. We hear you. Again, this board is not elected to oversee the Board of Health, and we're not elected to oversee the Water Commissioner. They're separately elected people, but collectively, yes, we could have done better, and we will do better going forward.
I would like to say, for the people, all the people that you mentioned in Hanson, I think you all stepped up to the plate, including Laura, and reached out to all these people. And it wasn't something that started in Hanson, but based on once we knew it was a problem, Laura stepped up to the plate and tried to figure out, in an emergency situation, what needed to be done. And I accommodate that, and everybody, the police, everybody involved. I'm not sure how many people in Hanson were involved, but everybody, I think, stepped up to the plate. One thing to add, when they were listing the streets that were affected, they listed McQuon and they listed other streets. It was confusing. Does it include streets off of those?
I saw that a lot. People were very like, I'm off of McQuon. Does that mean me? Yeah, I saw that. And I don't know the answer to this moment. I really don't, yeah.
I live off of McQuon, that's why I'm wondering.
Yeah.
But I think if this is just a learning experience, if we pay our bill to Hanson,
You're not affected.
not affected.
In that particular case.
That is
Yeah.
how it should have been phrased.
Yes,
in the first
yes.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you pay your bill to the town of Hanson Water Department? You are not
Yep.
affected.
yeah. But I don't think it was known at the time, but I think it was a live and learn, and I think the learning was
Yeah.
quick and done. I think it was done well, even though it was
I have to say, as per usual, no matter what happens, we have people on, in our town that are our employees that they're the real deal. They just, they get it done. So they got it done. And, might not have been pretty, but we did get it done. And like I said, I was very pleased to talk to the superintendent and hear her say, we're looking at what we could have done better. And she said, and I know Mass DEP's looking at what they could have done better. And I said, okay, that's all
that's all you can do.
yeah, that's great. Okay, so, Ms. Green, I probably just stole half of your town administrator report, sorry.
It's okay, the meeting will be quicker. Okay, so a couple of things I've already covered. My town administrator, we have our new IT director starting on June 2nd. We're looking forward to welcoming him to the team. He is really going to be a very good addition to us, and we can't wait to get some of these IT projects up and running that have been stagnant for a long time.
Can we get the website,
Website is almost top of the
okay,
list.
all right. Because it's like, I even need a decoder ring sometimes to make it through that.
Yes. And then our new executive assistant, again, she starts on June 3rd, so can't wait to welcome her to Hanson. She's going to be a great addition to the office. She comes to us with a lot of municipal experience, and so really looking forward to welcoming her. Congratulations and welcome to our new town clerk, Jessica Francischini. Skini, yes,
Yep.
yes. She told me how to pronounce her name and I've been practicing. We look forward to welcoming her and working with her.
And Beth's
as our
going to
new
be
town
helping
clerk.
her transition.
Yes, so Beth Sloan is going to be with us for at least another couple of weeks to help with the transition and some training. I received our initial insurance renewal summary, and it looks like through training that Maya offers to the town, safety training, things like that, our employees participate in that training, we get credits. So, from our employees participating in all the different types of safety trainings that they have, we're getting $3,223 in credit
Nice.
towards our premium.
Nice.
It looks like we are, our premium is in line to be almost equal or 1.5% more than what last year was, which is still way under what we were paying.
Okay,
3
now you
years
know
ago.
what I'm going to ask you. How can we get people to take more of these classes so we can get more of a credit?
Well, I mean, to get $3,200, there's a lot of people are participating in the different types of training. So I think if they do any more, we might have them out of the office way too much. But
Fair enough.
yeah, there's always a list of trainings on the website that they can go to. There's a lot of training for highway safety, things like that. So just going to encourage our employees to keep up the great work because it saves us money in the long run. I've been working a lot with assembling the personnel files for our new employees. working on public records requests. We're getting a lot of them for some reason recently. Reviewing and signing payroll warrants, so it's been very busy in the office. And I just want to mention, our flagpole out front, our maintenance technician, Charlie Baker, a great big thank you. He was out there yesterday in the wind. He was, scraping and repainting the pole.
It looks
so
amazing.
Great. He had a goal to have it done before Memorial Day for the parade, and he's accomplished that. So a big kudos to him for, taking care of that for us. And next week, it is Memorial Day, so please remember, Town Hall's closed on Monday, the 26th. I will be in the office on Tuesday, but then I will be out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm attending the Mass Municipal Management Association Conference. Doreen will be in the office Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, unlimited time, so we will post all of that on Facebook, the website, and the door.
What kind of, notifications are we doing? I feel like nobody's heard about what we're doing for Memorial Day. And I just want to make sure that, we don't have lackluster attendance because people are like, are they doing it? Are they not doing it? I know we talked about it at our last meeting, but are we putting it out in the Express and, on our signage and on our website and all that good jazz?
I will work with, I know that our veterans agent now has access to website and Facebook. I'll check with him tomorrow. He was out yesterday on a training, so he had some catch up to do today, but, I'll check with him tomorrow and see what kind of, information he's got out there.
Because
So we'll work together
I
to
think
get that
he's
out
been
there.
working really diligently behind the scenes, getting it organized,
He
but
has
if we
been.
don't tell people what we're doing,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna be there to see the magnificent thing that he put together.
Yeah, and
So-
we'll get it out on the sign out here.
Okay, cool. Also, I would really like to thank everybody that was, involved, the election workers and Beth Sloan, in the election over the weekend. They did an excellent job. And it was a little cramped in there, but, they made it work. This is her last, election that she's doing with us. So I just wanted to thank her and everybody else that, that supported that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into that, and again, yeah, big thank you to, all the employees who participate to get that ready.
Yep.
And that actually concludes my, town administrator report for today.
Okay. Then with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. We will not be returning to open session. We're going into executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 38, section 2A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Litigation, 1057 Main Street, collective bargaining discussions, union negotiations, admin, fire, highway, police, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 38, section 21A7, to review and approve executive session minutes not to be released May 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay, we will not be returning to open session.